and welcome to our third live stream, and this week it's going to be on Absinthe. Just been running about, I'm a bit out of breath. So first of all, we'll just do the normal housekeeping and announcements at the start. From next week I'm going to be running the stream from the Formal Shark Facebook page, so if you want that ping up on your Facebook just sort of the 10 minutes, 5 minutes beforehand, what I recommend you do is go to facebook.com/formalshark and just like that page, and then it'll come through like everything else. Talking about that, I'm really pleased to tell everybody that on this Saturday at 7 o'clock, our flagship show, Let's Drink with Formal Shark, is back with my best mate Bob, but we'll have a bit more of that later on. I'll not bore you too much about that. So the normal stuff, you can find more of our content on formalshark.co.uk. But let's get on to the main thing, and that is absinthe. I can't think of a drink that has more notoriety around it than absinthe. So we'll have a look at the drink, the history and the myths. I'd like to stress that I'm no absinthe expert. I know far more about beer, but hopefully it'll give you an insight into the absinthe and it'll let you explore the great drink and hopefully enjoy it at some point. Also, I don't speak French, so if there's any French words, I'm bound to cock them up. But that's just thingy. So like every week, we need a drink. And one of the great things about absinthe is serving it comes with a lot of sort of pageantry and a bit of pomp and ceremony. Or it can do. And that's one of the reasons I like it if you've got some people around. So if we were to do it properly, we would have a absinthe fountain. And these come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and look. And some of them are absolutely nice. I'll use nice. A lot of them have ladies with the boobies out for some reason. Unfortunately, a mix of me being skint and lockdown means what I'm using is a £6 water dispenser from Wilco's. It saves us paying the £30 plus from that. So that's that. So let's get on with pouring of the drink that I should have somewhere where it's... Yeah, that's right. I was just checking to make sure I had the right camera up so you can see what happens. So what you need is an absinthe spoon that's all like ornate and things like that. It's a bit like... I thought it was only heroin that you needed a spoon for, but anyway, you get a sugar cube, you pop that on there, you put your absinthe in. This is 60%. So absinthe is a high alcohol spirit. The good thing about having a proper absinthe glass is it'll have certain lines on it to tell you what to do. For example, this line tells us how much absinthe to put in. And as you can see, it's a nice, clear, green colour. Oh, I've put a bit too much of that in. Oops-a-daisy. So anyway, and the idea is what you should be doing is putting in about 3 to 5 parts water to the absinthe, and that's why that line on there, if you can, I don't think you can see the lines, but there's a line on there. So I put that on there, and my water is iced water. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to slowly pour that on there. Just a nice drip. And the water, what you'll end up seeing is the water will go from this sort of nice bright green colour to an opaque green. And this is because when the water hits, it emulsifies the oils and does some crazy stuff with it. So that's that. Got a message in. Oh, what's an absinthe? Absinthe is a type of drink. We'll go through some of what makes the drink, but it's a type of spirit is absinthe. Absinthe, even. I can't say the word, but anyway. So as you can see, the spirit is currently, it's now gone this lovely opaque colour. Now, I like mine quite strong, so I would just turn it off. Turn it the right way, pop it in there and use the spoon to do the sugar. Now, the reason you add sugar is it's quite a bitter spirit. Like that. So yeah, what is absinthe? Well, it is made up of lots of different things within the spirit. It's just so it's let's get a hold of this. So the first thing that is in it is grand wormwood, and this is a hibunculus perennial plant with a fibrous roots. This brings bitterness to the drink and aniseed flavours. So this really adds the bitterness to the drink, and this is where a lot of the notoriety comes through, but we'll talk about this later. What we do have is, the other thing it has in is green aniseed. Its flavours are similar with other spices such as star anise, fennel and licorice. It's widely cultivated and used to flavour food, alcohol drinks. Think of sort of blackjack and aniseed balls and things like that for that flavour. And then sweet fennel. It's a flowering plant species in the carrot family. It's a hardy perennial herb with yellow flowers and feathery leaves, and it has a similar taste to aniseed. So what you're going to get into this drink is a lot of aniseed flavours. So if you like your blackjacks, if you like your aniseed balls, then it's a drink to try. I know that people don't like them sort of flavours, so don't drink it if that's the case. But what I would recommend is, if you've never had like a good quality one, try it with a good quality. A lot of people sort of started off drinking it when it came fashionable, but we'll go on to that later on, and would be cheaper versions of it. So the bit that I like, the history. So it's the drink of the French Bohemian movement in the latter half of the 1800s and into the early 1900s. So you're thinking of stuff like Ernest Hemingway and all sorts of different Bohemian people that I've now completely forgot the list of. And it's also the drink of the goth movement now. Absinthe originated in Switzerland in the late 18th century. Absinthe's popularity grew steadily through the 1840s when it was given to the French troops as a malaria prevention, and the troops brought home their taste for it. Absinthe became so popular in bars, bistros and cafes by the 1860s that the hour of 5 p.m. was called the green hour. It was favoured by all social classes, from the wealthy bourgeoisie to the poor artist classes, and ordinary working class people as well. By the 1880s, mass production had caused the price to drop sharply, and the French were drinking 36 million litres per year by 1910, compared to their annual consumption of almost 5 billion litres of wine. The French do like the wine. Absinthe started to become associated with violent crime, social disorder, and it sort of started to trigger bogus claims and a smear campaign. And I've put some sort of pictures on the screen now of some of them, of the sort of propaganda that was going around at the time. And the temperance movement and the wine industry was behind this. And if you really want to understand sort of the temperance movement and how it went on, then have a look into sort of prohibition in America. And I think that's probably a good subject for another show because that'll take a bit of research. Anyway, back to absinthe. Absinthe was then becoming the drink of the poor and bohemians and revolutionaries. And what the establishment liked to do is discredit people that could change the status quo. So it was very much Viva la Revolution, through a concerted effort by French wine companies to put their competition out of business. They created a moral panic surrounding the consumption of alcohol, using bogus research by a guy called Dr. McGann. The wine companies managed to hijack the growing global temperance movement, and thus good, upstanding French wine tramped over the degenerate working class absinthe. And people believed that absinthe made you crazy, criminal, it would provoke epilepsy and give you tuberculosis, and it killed thousands of French people. So basically, it made you into an arsehole and ill, was what they were claiming. One story is of Jean Lefray, and he was a French labourer that was working in Switzerland. So he woke up and he had a shot of absinthe in diluted water. And then after he drank that, he had another. He then went to work, and on his lunch break, he downed 6 glasses of wine, strong wine, I don't know what. I'm not going to drink 6 of them, I'll be on my back. And then he drank another 6 before, he drank another glass before leaving work. Sort of on his way home, he then decided to go for a coffee. And in that coffee, he put a brandy. So he drank a fair bit by then. Once he was home, he quaffed a litre of wine. Now, his wife was a bit pissed at him for this, quite rightfully, and they had a bit of a barney. So in his drunken state, he took his gun from the wall and shot her through the head. When his daughter Rose came to investigate the kerfuffle, bang, he shot her in the head too. Then he went into the next room, walked to the crib of his other daughter, bang, and shot her. He then shot himself in the jaw and carried the lifeless dead body of his daughter in the garden, where he collapsed. He actually survived and went to trial, and it was basically because of the moral panic against absinthe in Europe at the time. His murders were blamed solely on the influence of absinthe, and he was used in the propaganda against absinthe. This led to a petition against absinthe and then a ban in Switzerland and other countries. Basically other countries in Europe followed, including France and the US as well. So the revival of absinthe came in the 90s in the UK. Had never actually formally banned it, so you could get it imported from other countries that had not embargoed it. And this is where we'll start to see a lot of like cheap absinthe coming back into the market, and sort of your lads and necking it culture. In 2000, Lafite Absinthe became the first commercial absinthe distilled and bottled in France since the 1914 ban. And with the EU laws and sort of all that sort of stuff, absinthe lifted across the EU. And in 2007, the French brand Lucid became the first genuine absinthe to receive a certification of label approved cola for import into the United States since 1912. I think I've got a... So that's a sum up of the history where we are today with it. I think it's quite an interesting history. Very similar to the gin one that we did before, where little incidences of just people getting drunken. I don't believe it was just the absinthe that caused somebody to murder everything once they drank that much wine, but that's what history is like. So there's a lot of myths about absinthe, so I'm going to try and go through just a few of them. So the first one is, absinthe is banned in the Europe or the US. As I said earlier, no it's not, it's widely available. There's still plenty of shit versions out there, so you've got to look out for what you want to make sure it's the real deal if you want to get a good flavour. But yeah, it's definitely available. The second one, absinthe will make you hallucinate. And the only way I can say this is it's utter bollocks. Some movies in the 90s were linked to it, and Billy Bullshit are sort of peddling the myth where they'll drink some absinthe and so then go along and say, oh, I hallucinated in the 90s, and that just sort of peddled this really bizarre myth. However, in the 1900s, absinthe could have been mixed with things that could have made you hallucinate. Since absinthe was so popular, some producers used industrial grade alcohol and flavours it with like commercial oil extracts. Both the oil and the spirits were clear, so the colour, so to get that the right colour and then this clouding effect, they would use artificial things like copper sulfate. When consumed regularly, this mixture would cause poisoning, and one of the results of that would be hallucinations. Also, a strong flavoured drink, it's great to hide other substances in that. So if you're wanting to drink something that's maybe a bit dodgy, I think some types of fake opium and stuff like that at the time, you could put it in there, and then that would sort of medical grade opium. That would mean you could then drink that because it would be all bitter and horrible. So yeah, it's perfectly safe. It's not going to do any harm. Sort of the third myth, countries banned absinthe because it was hallucinogenic or dangerous. And like many laws around drugs, it had nothing to do with the with facts and more to do with who could buy the media and the politicians, and it was the wine industry wanting to take out competition. Wormwood does have poison properties in it, but the amount in absinthe is so low that the effects of alcohol would kill you well before the wormwood. The fourth one, absinthe should be served with flaming. So a lot of the time you see it and it's all flaming. There's no reason to set your alcohol on fire. All it does is mean you have less alcohol at the end of the day. It was done in the 90s to hide that the absinthe was cheap and was often just coloured vodka being marketed as absinthe. So that's some of the myths. Like I said earlier on, we are going to be doing Let's Drink. That is sort of the flagship show that me and my mate Bob does. I've done a little promo. I will warn you, it does have swearing in it, so if you're listening with young minds or prudish, then maybe mute it. And then when you see my pretty little face again, then you can unmute. It's very like religious.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Oh fuck me! I've got cheese everywhere.
You got a cheesy dog.
I've got to wear these for work.
It's not meant to be there. Is that?
Yes, that's chili.
That's chili. It's not bits of malt.
Well, I don't know.
Hard to tell when it's got bits of.
It smells of cheese.
It does. It doesn't taste.
So you get this really delicate smoke taste where you can really, you can taste you can fully taste the flavour of smoke. It's not. Sometimes with smoke stuff, that's what you can taste. You can taste that really.
You can taste every single element of
but you
that
can taste.
smoke.
There's a nice like sweetness to it, a nice sweet smokiness to it.
Yeah.
So that you're really getting that subtle flavours out of the smoke. So it's not a subtle flavour itself, but then when you drink.
It's not like smoked bacon, where you get smoked bacon, that's all you can taste is smokes with bacon. It's very, very subtle.
Yeah, there's very fruity tastes coming through.
The flavours split in your mouth as you drink it. You get one flavour and then it grows into the next and into the next. But then even either side of your mouth, you can kind of taste different flavours.
No, it's again,
at the same time. It's really
again, very drinkable. Would you snog, marry and void just by a picture? No, why would you marry somebody just off a picture? You stupid programme.
No, I wouldn't do anything. If you were coming along, I would not snog you. I would not marry you, and because I'm a nice person, I wouldn't avoid you. Surprise! It says fucking lager on the bottom.
Yeah, but sometimes you have a fucking lager, you prick.
I had,
right?
actually, I
you
had.
have them, and they come out dark because you can have a dark lager. You should know this by now.
I was going to say that.
Have I fucking not taught you anything?
Shut up, man. I was going to say I actually had a black lager from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and that was.
So yeah, we are doing that on Saturday at 7 o'clock. If you go to thepipstop.co.uk, they have all the beers that we're going to drink. You'd have to go on our Facebook as well to get the list of beers we're going to have. We're going to have one from Full Circle Brewing, Anarchy and Wylam. It's a silly little show in the main part where we drink beer and chat a bit about life in general. And it tries to be thinking, yeah, I'm pushing it. It's really sort of something that I'm really enjoy doing, so I thought I'd push it a little bit. So what I will do now is you can get us, so you can help us if you would like to subscribe to beer subscription services. You can get £5 off Flavourly or 50% off your first order of beer 52. What these do is if you follow them links, you get some money off, and then we get free beer if you do the service for so long. We're not attached to them, it's just a service we do, and you get the same codes when you join up, so you can try and bully friends and family into it as well, but it just means that we can carry on our habit. If not, you can donate at formalshark.co.uk/donate, and that just means that we can carry on funding, buy the little bit extras like the glass that I bought and things like that for this one. Social media, you don't have to do anything But we would appreciate if you would sign up to our social medias, formalshark.co.uk, facebook.com/formalshark, and if you've got Twitter, let's drink _FS. And that just means you keep up to date with all these. And like I said, from now on, I'm going to be doing them over on that channel rather than my personal channel, just so we get more people watching it. It means you can sort of spread the word a bit more and things like that. So last week I should apologise, as I didn't realise that there were more comments when I scrolled down on the social media. So I am going to read out some from last week, just because I feel that bad for anybody. They might not be watching this week, but that doesn't matter. So Nicola Bell said, "Brilliant presenting, Phil. I'm not a lager girl, as a bit clueless, but you did well." I'm always going to read self-praise out because it makes me feel good. It feels like a bit like doing shout-outs on Live and Kicking or something, doing this. Adele Lockley said, "Wine next week, please." Wine's going to take us quite a while to do because my knowledge is nowhere up there with that. Even doing sort of these ones, I have to do a couple of days worth of research. I want to get it good. So it's on the cards, but I can't guarantee it'll be anytime soon. But not going anywhere, so we'll see. Sophie Edwards gives us a wave, so give her a wave back. This was all last week, so it's a bit delayed. Adele Lockley asks, "What's a hop?" So that's from last week when we were talking about beer. And a hop is a little flower bud. It's a cousin to cannabis. That's its nearest relative, and it gives you the bitterness in beer and other sort of flavours, like some spicy flavours, some earthy flavours, and sort of your citrus and things like that. So now I'm going to try and read the comments that I have on screen now, but I have to just work out how to zoom in a bit so I can see them because I'm old. Oh, there, that's nice and big. So Kirsty Smith at the start said she loved the music. We just use that because it's free. It's commercial free. It's that old. So I've got to find something that's not going to start cutting in and out and getting all sorts of problems. But I do like it. What is Absinthe? I sort of explained that because I've seen it. But yeah, it's a drink, a spirit made with wormwood and things like that. Kirsty again, you're going to be bouncing after all that drink. Yeah. I didn't sleep last night either, so after this I'm going to be trying to get to bed, but I might be bouncing till later on. And Adam Boucher, you seem to know a lot about opium. I googled it. I don't think I've ever tried it. I don't think a doctor's ever give us anything like that. And then it's write a comment, so that's successfully done all the comments this week. So yeah, see you again next week. I haven't chose a subject. You could try us on Saturday night. You could buy the beers in. That would be. You can drink along at home. See if we're talking rubbish, and it's a good way. And you'll be able to interact exactly the same with the typing. It'll be a bit different because I'll have a co-host, so we'll be able to have a little bit more immediate effect with the sort of messaging. So that's that for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, I will see you all next time.